your name? Don't you play this game? You from another land, got you like it's contraband. Tell me what's your name? Don't you play this game? You from another land, got you like it's contraband.
What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new part to an alternate universe. Now, this is going to be part 2 of what if Naruto was the new god of chaos, or was chaos itself. Now, I will pretty much do the quick recap and then pretty much get to the new parts. But I do want to say thank you guys for supporting me and subscribing and also doing the likes and stuff. Please keep up the good love. For this part, I want to just get up to 30 likes. I don't want y'all to just get up to high likes or 100 likes. But if we can get up to 100 likes, I will be most grateful. But let's just get this up to 30 likes. Keep it simple, and then we can just keep going. But other than that, let's keep going. So, where we last left off. Pretty much we last left off with pretty much Naruto, pretty much be given the power of God Chaos. Well, be given the power of chaos. The power of chaos. Well, God Chaos. Well, wherever you want to put it. By pretty much me, and also by God, and also Dio Brando, aka as you know as my subscribers. Pretty much was talking about it and contemplating who should become the new god of chaos or chaos itself, which we decided it was this Naruto in this other universe. And y'all pretty much are confused of how many universes are there. There's a lot of universes I have, but this universe is pretty much universe 45 to keep it exact, so make sure to keep that in mind. This is the 45 universe, but there's multiple universes due to my ideas and also y'all guys' ideas. So there is multiple universes out there. So don't worry, it will be a lot of videos coming in the future to give y'all a hint. But let's continue. Pretty much, this universe is a little bit different. Minato survived this instead of Kushina. Minato changed at this, which pretty much I already explained it in the first video. But let's continue. Pretty much after bestowing Naruto with the chaos power, or just chaos itself, Naruto hair's changed, and he's also has a whole demeanor and different in its own self. This is where I pretty much show up to Naruto, explaining that he's the new god of chaos or new chaos, and he can pretty much do with his love. He can create life, also destroy life. He can do multiple things. He has a lot of potential. I also told him, which Naruto has basically boosted stealth and status, power, and also intelligence. So Naruto is pretty much smart, very smart. But pretty much after that, this is where Naruto pretty much have confront Mitsuki, absolutely whooped the shit out of him. Didn't kill him, but actually, I think he did. I can't remember. But if he did, he did. Or if he didn't, then pretty much, yeah. After that, Naruto pretty much went to the academy. All teams are the same, including Team 7. If you do want me to change it, please say it in comments, and I will change up to Team 7 if you like. But pretty much, Team 7 is the same. All up to the point that all commotions and stuff is relatively the same in some parts. This is where we head to the bell test. Bell test was a little different, but relatively, they got the bells. Well, Naruto got the bells from Kakashi, but they still passed nonetheless by using teamwork. Now, let's get to the new parts. Now, pretty much, this is where Naruto... this is where... sorry about that. This is where Naruto is pretty much doing missions with Naruto. Doing missions with Sasuke, but also training Sasuke to help him a lot. Giving Sasuke a little bit more boost, and also helping him unlock more of his Sharingan and his strength of his ability and stuff. And also help him out just get more stronger physically and mentally. But this is where pretty much I appear again, while Naruto and Sasuke is on their free time break, and I pretty much show up pretty much on the day off of doing the mission. This is where I pretty much show up and talk to Naruto and says, "Hey Naruto," which this is where Naruto is saying, "Oh hey, Keyshawn Uchiha," which, well, he pretty much just say, "Hey Keyshawn," which I pretty much say, "Well, I see you have a friend here," which this is where Naruto introduced that this is his friend Sasuke Uchiha, which pretty much Naruto says, "Oh, Naruto pretty much says, oh, this is also, he's a Uchiha too. Which Sasuke says, Uchiha, I haven't seen you before, or you heard about you. Which pretty much this is where I smile and say, oh, well, I'm quite a Uchiha and quite unique, but we don't have to talk about that. Which Sasuke is a little bit unskeptical and says, well, I want to see if you're Uchiha. I want to spar with you. Which, this is where I think about it and say, huh, well, I do have something for y'all. Which, before this, I pretty much tell them a place, and I pretty much teleport both of them to the secret time chamber. And if y'all know, it's from Dragon Ball, but this is a different, unique secret time chamber. This time chamber is more of like a galaxy time chamber, which instead of a year, it's like billions of years. So it's much more different than anything else. So instead of a year, it's billions of years. So if it's a day is more like billions of years, like 1 billion years. So it's much more different than that. But pretty much, and I know what y'all thinking. Wait, ain't they will age to old man? No, they will age up to the amount of a teenager. So actually, instead of being 1 billion years, it's like 2 years. So if they're in there, so 1 day is like 2 years, 2 days is like 4 years. So it's like times multiplier, you could say. But pretty much this is where I show him the Galaxy Time Chamber. I says, well, this is the training area I wanted to kind of train you, Naruto. But since your friend is here, I wanted to train. He wanted to spar with me. I might as well have him get his potential a little bit unlocked. I heard you wanted. I kind of was noticing that you was trying to help him boost up his power, which Naruto is, you know, saying yeah about that. Which this is where two of my subscribers come in, God and Dio Brando. Which of course, um, my brother, one of my subscribers, Uchiha, pretty much comes in as well. And pretty much this is where Naruto says, who are these people? This is where, of course, Dio Brando, one of my subscribers, pretty much says, oh. So this is the one you gave the Chaos Power to. I gotta say, this Naruto is quite unique in his own way. Which, this is where God says, chaos itself. I can see it inside of him. And yet, I can still see some good in him, a light of hope. Which, pretty much, God is talking about he has balance in him. Which, this is where I pretty much explained that these two are pretty much my good friends. And also that they are gods themselves in sense. Which, this is where pretty much Sasuke pretty much says, are we going to spar? Which I pretty much says, okay, let's get this started in. Which this is where Sasuke gets into a fighting stance. And I pretty much get into my fighting stance and I say, okay, take notes, Naruto. And you too, Sasuke. Which this is where, of course, I have my shades on and I'm not gonna show him my eyes. Which this is where Sasuke begins to start attacking me. This is where Sasuke begins to get into a fighting stance, attacking me, using his techniques in the anime, also shooting fireballs and using, kunais and stuff, throwing in the shuriken, which I'm dodging with simple ease and saying, you gotta be more creative, Sasuke. Which this is where Sasuke gets to his 3 Tomui. And he begins to get into more perceptual, shooting more fireballs. And also, he's preserving his chakra and stuff. And this is where Sasuke pretty much tried to provoke me and say, you're taking it easy on me. I thought you said you was going to show me your true power. Which this is where I say, I see what you're doing, Sasuke. But are you sure you're ready to see this true power? Which this is where Sasuke says, might as well. Which this is where I say, alright, I guess this is where I'm going to show you the true power then. Which this is where I take off my sunshades and pretty much, take off my glasses. Well, you could say black shades, glasses. I pretty much open up my eyes, showing the Galaxy Rinnegan. Well, my Galaxy 3 Tommy Sharingan. Which he says, what? What are those? Which I pretty much says, well, these are my Sharingans. The Galaxy Sharingans. Which, this is where I have it only at 1 Tomui. which he's pretty much saying, which he pretty much gets pissed off and saying, why you not have it on 3 Tomoes? Which I pretty much say, you gotta earn it to get to 3 Tomoe. But shall we go then? Which this is where Sasuke charges at me, shooting fireballs at me. This is where, of course, I'm just walking very slowly. And I'm just dodging the fireballs left and right and stuff. And I say, come on, you gotta do at least better than that. And this is where Sasuke charged me to hand-to-hand combat. This is where, of course, I'm charging him to hand-to-hand combat, dodging his attacks, but also countering his attacks and getting hit, just hitting him at the right moments. This is where Sasuke backs up and he's doing heavy breathes inside and stuff. Which this is where Sasuke begins to get like more motivated and more excited of this spar. Which this is where he pretty much shoots a fireball at me, which I pretty much just say this again, which I pretty much just smacks it away. Which Sasuke appears right behind me, pretty much kicking me in the back and shooting a fireball, which I pretty much realized that he did that, which I pretty much just turns around and turned into my 2 Tomoe Sharingan, which you could say phased through the fireball, which I pretty much say, that was a close one. I got careless for a second, which this is where Sasuke says, I got you to your 2 Tomoe, which I pretty much realized, and I'm like, I guess you did, which I pretty much said, good job, a true Uchiha, which he pretty much smiles in excitement. This is where later I explain to them that I will have them train here for about 2 years. This will affect their mind and body and stuff, but will help them get more experience and stuff. And they will grow a little bit taller, kind of like the 2 years time skip kind of way. Which Naruto says, but ain't that would be weird for us going back if we look like teenagers? Which I pretty much explained to them that everything will be perfectly fine. Everything will be perfectly fine with them. I can re-age them back, but they will just have the power and the knowledge. Which Naruto and Sasuke both agree, and they pretty much have their training in there. Which, of course, I'd be there to pretty much watch them with Dio Brando and God as well. This is where Naruto will learn more about his chaos power, or his chaos, you could say, godly power, and begins to pretty much utilize it, understands it, use the power, and pretty much will help Sasuke unlock his true potential and pretty much activate their power that they was given by the Sage of Six Path as reincarnations, which pretty much Naruto has figured out a way to pretty much access all his old past reincarnation lives. So Naruto pretty much relearned all his old jutsus from his past reincarnations, such as he also has wood style now, since he realized that he's the reincarnation of the first Hokage. This is where Sasuke also has been given access all of his reincarnations, and pretty much he is more wiser now, and learned from his mistakes, and realized that they're more brothers than just separate friends now. So now they will have more access to being brothers instead of just being rivals and all that shit, since they know their reincarnations and stuff. This is where Sasuke will also activate the Mangekyo Sharingan of his first reincarnation, but also will have the Rinnegan. But of course, he won't use his Rinnegan unless it's necessary, which I advised him to not use his Rinnegan unless it's necessary. Which I explained to Naruto that the sun and the moon of the handprint shall be used. They shall use it for the right time. When the time has come. When I tell them. Well, when they know. Which this is where Sasuke and Naruto both agrees. And I pretty much de-aged them back into their regular size before anything else. And I informed them that they will grow as regular age as regular time. Which this is where I give them my regards. Which Dio Brando looks at both of them and says, I'll be waiting for that rematch when y'all try to fight me again with my heaven world. Well, with my world. And hell, maybe I might give you a second match with my heaven the world. Which Naruto says, I'll be ready for it. And Sasuke be smiling too. This is where God pretty much says, I'm not much as a fighter, but I shall give y'all a match when the time comes. Well, at least, if y'all want me to. Which Naruto and Sasuke both do a little bit of a, laugh of a haha, but they don't want to fight God. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke. But pretty much, this is where I take them back to their universe and stuff, and pretty much tell them the good luck, and make sure to be, make sure to enjoy life as they fullest and stuff, and do what they feel like it's right. And I pretty much, give them my regards and say goodbye. But before I left, I tell them also to keep me a secret because, you know, I'm not trying to be well known around the universes. But, kind of at the same time. But at the same time, I kind of do, but, specific reasons. But I get out of there. This is where we switch back to Naruto. This is where Naruto and Sasuke is pretty much gets called upon Kakashi pretty much to do more missions. This is where Naruto and Sasuke is pretty much doing more missions more faster now, more on quicker on time. But they also train with each other, have that motivation. But now, since they know that they're brothers and reincarnation, they've been helping out more with Sakura, pretty much motivating her to do more training and stuff, helping her do better at chakra control. And yes, I know that regularly this shit would not be happening. Like, why would they help Sakura garbage can? But keep in mind, this is a different, video. And also, let's mix it up a mix. And we haven't really seen Sakura really be truly in her youthful trying. Sorry about that. Had to help my nana out. But let's continue. Pretty much, this is where, they've been, like I said, we haven't really been seeing Naruto and Sasuke be helping out Sakura and what else. It's more like a Sakura be OP, or she be getting buffed by some other hand, or she just be getting trashed or becoming a sex slave, or, so forth, But let's actually do something different this time and have Sasuke and Naruto actually help out Sakura, help out their team member, pretty much help her out with her chakra recovery, also help her out with her, Naruto will also be giving Sakura a gift, which she doesn't know what it is, but Naruto pretty much will be giving her a gift of good ninjutsu healing, basically knowledge of it. So Sakura don't have to have the whole process of like trying to figure out how to do healing or do the slug thing. If she learns, if it has anything to do with like healing or ninjutsu healing, Sakura gets it down in the instant, pretty much by instant. But that's pretty much it. Also, maybe with the also training thing with the muscles and like putting chakra into fist, or basically putting chakra a hole around her and stuff, or like fusing her chakra with like to boost her feats in like movement speed or all that. Naruto basically gave her that too, so she can learn the whole concept of that too with the instant, instead of like having the whole process of it. But everything else she has to learn on her own, like secret techniques or any of that she has to learn on her own by that. But Naruto also gave her upper intelligence too, so she's not like god genius, but she's like intelligent enough, like pretty much apology. But it's not OP, but it's good. It's a little bit good, a little bit too highly that I'd be giving Sakura, but we're gonna let it slide that time for me, and bear with me, guys. But pretty much, Naruto, Sasuke has been, like I said, they know their reincarnations, they know their brothers, and they know that they don't want to repeat the same mistakes all over again. So, pretty much, Naruto and Sasuke are more like brothers than anything else. Instead of friends or none of that, they're more like brothers now. So, pretty much, they also be helping Sakura out with the thing, which also Naruto realized that Sasuke do have a liking to Sakura, even though he thinks that she's annoying. He does like her, which Naruto calls it out a little bit, which Sasuke be blushing and saying, shut up, brother," which Naruto be laughing about. But pretty much, as the missions are still going, this is where Naruto, of course, gets bored and Sasuke begins to begins to go to Hiruzen and ask for a higher mission. Well, not Hiruzen, Minato including Naruto, asks for asks his father, can they get a higher mission or at least something bigger because these missions are beneath him and they're tired of this shit. Which this is where Minato, of course, will look at his son and say, all right, and gives them a little bit of a higher mission. This is, of course, a C mission, and it's to protect Tazna. This is where Tazna comes in all drunk and stuff, and he looks at the team, which he pretty much says, is this team gonna defend me? I don't believe this. Which, of course, he says that. This is where Naruto, of course, don't get mad about it, but Sasuke does get a little tempo and says, what do you mean by that? Well, actually, yeah, Naruto's more calm one, and pretty much just doing a little smirk, which Sasuke gets mad. And says, "What do you mean by that?" Which this is where Kakashi pretty much stopped him for saying anything and says, "Well, my team is more capable to pretty much protect you than any other ninjas. I have more confidence in them." Which, keep in mind, Kakashi has been watching his team members, watching his students, and his Team 7 students pretty much been working, training, and also been, working together, and also watch Sasuke and Naruto pretty much become closer than ever and help out Sakura more than anything, which he's proud about. So he has more confidence in his team. And he pretty much says that. This is where Tanjiro says, alright, whatever, and pretty much walks out. This is where, of course, Naruto is excited about this, and Sasuke, including Sakura at this too, because she wants to show Sasuke and Naruto that all her training has been paying off by them teaching her some unique stuff and all that. This is where, of course, they get packing and they start heading out. As they're heading out, this is where they pretty much know it's the portal, which immediately Sakura gets into a stance, a defensive position, which Sasuke and Naruto also too, which Kakashi notices and also be impressed, and they continue going. This is where pretty much the two demon brothers comes out, which pretty much this is where instead of like the same thing happened in the original canon, pretty much Sasuke and Naruto dispatched the demon brothers. Now, as that happens, pretty much Naruto holds one of them. Well, pretty much Naruto holds down one of them and pretty much access his mind, and he pretty much sees all the information he needs, and he pretty much just kills off the demon brother. Because keep in mind, Naruto is the new Chaos God or Chaos, so pretty much Naruto has no emotions of killing off people or feeling guilt about it. Which that's what Naruto does. Pretty much kills off the demon brother. Which Sasuke already dispatched the other one. This is where Naruto pretty much talks to Kakashi and explains what's the whole situation. Which Kakashi already knew that something was up already, but he just didn't have a hunch on it. This is where Kakashi asks the team, do they still want to go? Of course, Naruto says yes. Sasuke, of course, says yes, that he knows that they can handle it. And Sakura definitely says yes too, because she has more confidence and she's not scared in the original as canon. So pretty much this is where as they're still going. This is where they notice a frog and stuff. And they notice that they sense two, which Sakura has been working on her sensory ability. She has sensed that there's two, chakras, which she alert the team, which Naruto and Sasuke already can know as well, and they pretty much says alright. Which pretty much they continue going. This is where pretty much Kakashi tells everybody to duck, and of course everybody just dodge. Sasuke and Naruto dodge out the way, while Sakura ducks, and everybody else ducks. This is where the same thing happens as the original canon, but this is where Zabuza pretty much looks at the whole team, but he especially looks at Sasuke and Naruto, realizing that they are different in some type of way. But this is where pretty much Zabuza looks at Kakashi specifically, and he pretty much says his own name as original canon, saying that he's one of the legendary swordsmen. Which Naruto says, "Oh yeah, I heard about y'all. What happened to y'all guys? Ain't y'all was like all together for like this like water village or which village again? Which Zabuza pretty much says the village, and he pretty much says that it's none of your damn business. I will kill you later, but right now I want to fight him and kill him first. Kakashi of the thousand ninja copy, which he says Kakashi nickname, which Kakashi pretty much of course gives him that fight, and of course they have those hands. But of course, as original canon, Kakashi gets trapped by the water prison, and it's up to Sasuke, Naruto, and now I can finally say with good pride, Sakura. Now, pretty much how would this go now? Pretty much, if my belief and my consumptions, this is where Naruto will pretty much come up with a different plan as Rurouni can, pretty much talking to Sasuke and Sakura about it, and pretty much this is where Sakura will create a clone, and pretty much the clone will be over by Tazuna to protect him, while she be with Sasuke and pretty much with Naruto. This is where Naruto will be charging at Zabuza, and Zabuza will have two of his water clones. Well, I'll say original canon. He will make two. Well, yeah, out of original canon, he will make two water clones, and pretty much he will send one at Naruto, which Naruto will begin fighting at one of the water clones, and pretty much he will be taking his time fighting the water clone, playing around, just enjoying it, not really in a rush. This is where Sasuke will be fighting the other water. No, not Sasuke. This will be Sakura fighting the other. Actually, no. This will be Sasuke fighting the other water clone, and this is where Sasuke will pretty much use his three Tomoe. Well, uses his one Tomoe, pretty much just join the battle, because now they kind of have that cockiness of like wants to enjoy and do a little warm up before they get to their full power. You could say kind of like Goku in a sense. This is where they be like joining the time. Sasuke will be turning his one Tomoe, pretty much fighting the water clone, dodging attacks and stuff. Simple and easy, not a big waste and all that. Which Zabuza realized that they're not using their full power. They're just enjoying and taking their time. This is where he gets pissed off and says, "Y'all better use y'all full power before your teacher dies of this water drownish." Which, as he's saying that, this is where before he can finish the sentence, this is where he feels a whole punch in his stomach, and he begins to cough up and get sent flying. Which he forgot that it was even one more person, and it was Sakura. This is where Sakura has her fist, cover her chakra and saying, "Oh, what? He's gonna drown?" Which this is where Kakashi is free. This is where pretty much Kakashi says, "Good job, Sakura." Which Sakura says, "Anytime, Kakashi Sensei." Which pretty much she gives him a big grin of a smile. This is where he pretty much says, "All right, everybody step back. It's time for me to go serious here." Which this is where Kakashi lifts up his three Tomoe and pretty much does the original canon and starts fighting with Zabuza. Of course, the same happens in the original canon. Zabuza gets assassinated after he gets punked by Kakashi, and pretty much Zabuza gets taken away. But Naruto knows that that person works for Zabuza and pretty much alerted Kakashi. But he pretty much tells Kakashi that they're going to be coming back pretty soon, and he feels it, which Kakashi says he knows it. And they pretty much head to Tazuna house. Now, in Tazuna house, this is where Kakashi is resting after using the Sharingan, which this is where Naruto pretty much asks Kakashi that is there a problem why he always has to like cover up his eye, which this is where this is where pretty much Kakashi explains that the chakra, the Sharingan takes a lot of his chakra instead of like being normal like a Uchiha thing, which Naruto pretty much tell Kakashi to let him see, which Naruto pretty much fixes Kakashi eye, so now he can use the Sharingan without having the consumption of have to wait for the chakra to build up a lot and or to have it to take away all his chakra before he can use it fully. So Kakashi can now use the Sharingan without having the consequences and stuff. So this is where Kakashi asks how does it, which Naruto tells him that he just has a gift, he just has a unique power, and he asks him to not tell his father about it, and pretty much that this is pretty much a gift from him, and don't take it for granted. Which Kakashi says okay, and this is where Kakashi will pretty much trying to teach Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura how to water walk and tree walk. Well, how to tree walk and do better chakra control. But they already know. Sasuke and Naruto already would know how to use 100% pure chakra control, so they don't have to worry about that. And Sakura, she's at the point where she can just walk up on trees and stuff, and now you have a problem doing it. So Kakashi don't really need to teach him anything. So they just pretty much just start doing sparring and just relaxing at that point. This is where, of course, the original canon. Naruto will pretty much relax and meet Haku, which Haku will pretty much, they will have the same conversation, but Naruto will pretty much not really have a lack of emotions for it, and pretty much just tells Haku that to pretty much get Zabuza and get Zabuza and pretty much her out of there, which I'm gonna make her out of there, or pretty much he's gonna kill both of them. Which this is where Haku says, when did you know? Well, she pretty much asked, when did you know? Which pretty much Naruto says that's not important. Do you agree to pretty much leave? Or do you want to die and see him die as well? Which this is where she pretty much says that she would do it. She pretty much gets up and says that she would do whatever it takes and follows his will, every wish, which Naruto says, alright, I guess we're gonna have it in the hard way. And pretty much we're just gonna go to the bridge arc. Now, this is where, of course, Naruto will be a little late in original, but it wouldn't be too much a problem because Sasuke will pretty much be handling his own. This is where Naruto pretty much realized Sasuke would be in the ice mirrors fighting with Haku, which Sasuke's not even taking no damage or anything, just dodging all the attacks and stuff and not really getting hit by the Senmo needles. This is where, of course, Naruto will fall in and realize that Sasuke is in the ice mirrors too, and he's pretty much firing fireballs and stuff and not really losing a lot of chakra. He pretty much has a lot of chakra since he have his reincarnations and stuff. This is where, of course, Naruto will be like, well, brother, this is looking like a lot right now. Which this is where, of course, Haku pretty much says, look like y'all both doomed. Which this is where Sasuke pretty much would look at Naruto and says, I don't know. I was just trying to melt the mirrors by fireballs and stuff. I was trying not to really use my full power, but is it okay if I do? Just to get this little pest just to get out of this mess. Which Naruto says, hey, fine by me, brother. Which this is where Sasuke will just use, since I should probably tell you this. I know y'all gonna ask this question in the comments. Wait, since they remember their reincarnations, do they remember all the way to the point when they died and stuff and what they did? Which I'm gonna explain. Yes, they're gonna remember every single point, all the way to the point of all their reincarnations died. So Sasuke pretty much at the point knows not to repeat the same mistakes, including Naruto too, and realize that he has to do better. And also Sasuke too. So they're not going to repeat the same process. But they also is a little different now. But this is where pretty much Sasuke pretty much activate his Rinnegan. And he pretty much does the almighty push. And he pretty much he pretty much does the Rinnegan, and he pretty much does the almighty push, pushing a pathway, and pretty much breaking the exit. Well, pretty much breaking all the ice, you could say. This is where, of course, Naruto says, "Wow, I'm impressed." Which this is where Sasuke says, "I know." Which Haku is confused of, what the hell did he just do? this is where Sasuke, of course, deactivates it and switches all the way back down to like the third time when Sharingan says, "Now, should we fight fair and square, or do I have to beat you down with that power?" Which this is where of course, Haku is like confused of how he broke through the whole glass and stuff. Which Naruto is pretty much saying, "Oh wow, look like you actually put fear in her and shocked her at the same time." Which this is where she gets in a fighting stance, and doesn't know what they're gonna do next. Which this is where, of course, Kakashi and Zabuza is having that fight, and of course the same thing happens in Rouge Cannon, which pretty much this is where Haku runs in, which Kakashi does the lightning blade and pretty much stabs through Haku instead of Zabuza. This is where Haku pretty much gets stabs, and she pretty much hits the ground. But since Haku had more energy, she won't actually like die in the final blow kind of thing. She does get hit by it and she falls and critically injured. This is where Zabuza is pretty much doing the same thing as Rouge Cannon. But this is where Naruto gets pissed off and says, "You see what you did due to your," and Naruto basically does a speech and he's more pissed off than anything and saying, "You used her as a weapon and she actually cared for you and stuff. Did you actually feel the same feelings and stuff?" Which this is where Naruto pretty much gets in a furious rage, and he pretty much uses gravity, not the Rinnegan, but no, just uses pure gravity and blood loss and gravity at the same time. It begins to make Zabuza crush against his own weight, which Zabuza can't breathe and he's getting crushed, and he's like, "What is this? Like, what is this?" Which pretty much this is where Naruto is saying, you really are a selfish bastard. After what she did for you, after she cared for you, after what she said to me, after saying she would risk her life for you," which pretty much he is crushing the wave with Zabuza. And Zabuza's like bones isn't cracked and all that shit. And all that. This is where Naruto's about to finish him off, as he's walking close to him. But this is where Haku pretty much stops him and says, "Don't, I still care for him and stuff," and pretty much, saying that she did this on her own, if she knew, like, this is where Naruto pretty much says, "Damn it." Which this is where Naruto pretty much tells Sakura to heal Haku first, which Sakura is not like, unconfident of herself. She knows that she can pretty much heal like any life threatening wounds. Like in a certain extent, you could say. This is where Sakura runs in and starts healing Haku, which this is where um, you know, the boss man comes in and stuff. I keep forgetting his name because maybe he's not that important because he got trashed by Zabuza. Even though Zabuza was hurt really bad. But let's continue. Pretty much, this is where he comes in and he says, "Oh man, I thought y'all finished the job, but look like I just have to kill everybody here and just keep and pretty much keep this private." Which this is where Naruto looks at them and says, "Oh, so you're the mastermind of this." This is where Zabuza begins to get up and says, "No, let me do this. You taught me," basically after Naruto gave him that harsh speech, but the talk no jutsu. This is where Zabuza gets back up. But this is where Naruto pretty much smacks Zabuza on the back and says, "That's the spirit. Now you know how to be a good person." Alright. Which pretty much as he smacks Zabuza in the back, he gave him like a chakra boost and also healing. So Zabuza's at back in his prime. Which this is where Naruto, grabs Zabuza's sword and throws it to him. Which Zabuza grabs it. And this is where Naruto says, "It's demon time, Zabuza. Get them." Which this is where Zabuza, activate his, his awakening on Ninja Storm 4 when he turns into that demon thing? Yeah, he pretty much turns into that. Like, he activate his demon time and he starts charging at them. And think about the Chainsaw Massacre and him like slicing people bodies in half, and you can see that corpse they like Texas hanging, like there are textuals hanging out and stuff, and you see like body parts flying everywhere. Yeah, that was Zabuza. Zabuza is pretty much ripping and tearing them apart and stuff. One of them tried to slice him with a kunai, like try to stab him with a kunai, he pretty much grabs the kunai when it stabs his hand, and he pretty much turns it around and pretty much stabs in the guy's eye. Yeah, he's pretty much like Doom guy, but like more gruesome, you could say. This is where after he does all of that, this is where the boss guy is by himself, and he's like, wait. How about I double your payment? I can double your payment, and you can just kill them, and then, we can be all cool stuff, as the guy's trying to talk. This is where Zabuza just slice down and slice the guy in half. Pretty much slicing him in pieces. After that, this is where Zabuza is pretty much walking back to him and saying, he's sorry and stuff, and asking if, they're okay. This is where Naruto smiles and says it's all cool, which Sasuke says is fine with him. Sakura pretty much, looking away, but she says it's alright. At least he helped out and did the good thing, did the right thing. Kakashi, saying, pretty much smiling, saying, you're okay on my book. And pretty much they're all cool with each other. Of course, the bridge will be named the Great Naruto Bridge. And pretty much everybody goes in the separate ways. Before they go in the separate ways, this is where Haku gives Naruto a kiss on the cheek. And pretty much Naruto, of course, have his hormone emotions. Begins to blush a little bit and saying, chucks. Which Sasuke says, ooh, look like she likes you. Which, of course, Naruto says to shut up. And they laugh about it. And they pretty much all go in their separate ways. So, the great, Naruto Bridge arc is over now. And pretty much more better than usual. Because I make that more grinner and whatever. But let's continue. Now, we're going to the Chunin exams arc. Or, you could say, like, word of the Chunin exam arc. This is where, of course, they head back to the village. And this is where, as they're doing missions, this is where Kakashi asks them that the Chunin exam arc is coming up. And he asks them what they like to join. This is where, of course, Sasuke and Naruto immediately say yes because they're bored out their mind of wanting to do something else. And they thinking of maybe if they become a Jonin, they can do more higher missions and more dangerous missions that have them more excitement. Which this is where Sakura agrees as well. Which this is where he gives them an answer. Of course, they pass this with ease, including Sakura. And Kakashi says, okay, they can go in. Now, of course, as they're going in, this is where they do the first test, passes with ease. And this is where they get to the second room. Now, of course, as original candidates, Broccoli will challenge Sasuke and Naruto. Well, challenge Sasuke first for Sakura love, saying that, he loves Sakura, and he's saying what's so special about Uchiha. He pretty much says that he will fight the Uchiha if he uses anything he likes, including those Sharingan eyes. This is where Naruto looks at Sasuke and says, and gives him the nod, saying, "Hey, he said you can use whatever you want." Which this is where Sasuke smiles, and he pretty much goes all the way up to his Mangekyo Sharingan. And yes, Sasuke can go up to his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan without going blind. He doesn't need his brother eyes. So, he doesn't need his brother eyes because Naruto can just basically make new eyes and give it to him. But, pretty much, this is where he gets to his Mangekyo Sharingan. This is where Rock Lee doesn't know what the hell is that, but nonetheless, he goes and challenges Sasuke into a fight. Of course, the fight will be simple, but a little bit different. Sasuke will, of course, be dodging Rock Lee attacks, and also going in for attacks and stuff, which Rock Lee is pretty much dodging and stuff. And this is where Rock Lee, of course, will whoop Sasuke ass, and pretty much do the duck slam and knock Sasuke out. But that's not really Sasuke. Sasuke pretty much saying, is that all you got? Which this is where Rock Lee says, it doesn't matter. I just beat you again, if it's clone, and it happens again. Rock Lee kicks Sasuke in the head, sending him flying to a wall. But that wasn't Sasuke. This is where, again, Rock Lee fights Sasuke again, and pretty much beats Sasuke down again. But that's not Sasuke. And again, it's happening over again and again. And I will give Sasuke the whole concept of like doing the whole illusion like his brother, having his unique style of pretty much putting people in a genjutsu, but like kind of like his brother genjutsu. So it's more like an illusion of an illusion kind of way. So Rock Lee doesn't know he's in the genjutsu because Sasuke pretty much just put him in there before the fight starts. This is where, of course, Rock Lee is just pretty much standing still and pretty much just has his head down and his eyes closed, and he's pretty much just caught in the genjutsu. This is where, of course, Sasuke pretty much uh this is where Sasuke pretty much says, "All right, it's time to go," which Naruto says, "Yeah," and Sakura pretty much says, "I kind of feel bad for him," and pretty much they all go off. They pretty much all leave. Yeah, they pretty much all leave and and Rock Lee team Tenten and Neji have to wake up Rock Lee, but pretty much Sasuke can keep him how long he wants him in there, but he pretty much unleashed the genjutsu, which Rock Lee wakes up again and says, "Wait, what happened? What's going on?" Which Neji is saying, "You idiot! You got caught in a genjutsu," which which my guy was also seeing from a distance, realizing that Rock Lee already been lost the moment he got caught in that genjutsu. So so my guy's like, I probably has to help him out with his mind. Oh well, more training for him, pretty much, like that. And Rock Lee is more pissed off that he got caught in the jutsu, so that will definitely help him, get more stronger than original his counterpart in Canyon. But pretty much, this is where Naruto is heading to the next area, and of course, this is the cheating part. But Naruto doesn't need to cheat because he already knows how to do all the answers, and he pretty much is already done, and he just goes to sleep. While Sasuke and of course Sakura gets everything happens as a original canon test, but except for Naruto doesn't need to cheat because he's truly intelligent and he pretty much passes with ease, and also Sasuke and Sakura as well. Now let's get to the Forest of Death arc. Well, before we get to the fort, should we? No, let's get before the Forest of Death arc. Before the Forest of Death arc, this is where Naruto is pretty much talking, pretty much talking to Hiruzen's grandson. And keep in mind, Hiruzen is alive at this arc. Well, is alive, but not as Hokage. And he's pretty much spending more time with his grandson and teaching his grandson many more jutsus and stuff. So, pretty much this is where, pretty much this is where Naruto knows Hiruzen's grandson and pretty much hanging out with him, teaching him some new tricks and some jutsus and stuff. And also, of course, in original canon, teach him how to do the sexy jutsu just to play around, and just to be cool with him. This is where pretty much he bumps into Gaara as original canon, which this is where Gaara is about to. Oh no, this is where Gaara's brother's about to do something. Until Naruto says, "Hey, what do you think you're doing to the Hokage, the Hiruzen grandson? You know that's a crime for doing that, right? That means you're about to start war." Which pretty much he's about to say, "Oh yeah." Which this is where Naruto's about to do something until Gaara comes in, which Gaara brother instantly stops what he's doing and saying sorry, which Gaara looks at Naruto, and this is where Kurama instantly tells Naruto that that's the one tells Jinchuriki, my brother's inside of him, which Naruto smiles and says, "So, you're the one tells Jinchuriki," which Gaara is shocked and saying, "How do you know that?" Not me, pretty much, sorry, this is where Naruto, sorry, y'all can get a laugh out of that later on, but this is where Naruto pretty much smiles and says, that's not your concern, but I'm just going to let you know I'm going to relieve you of your pain afterwards, which this is where Gaara is confused about it, but he smiles and says, might as well. I think I like you. What's your name? Which pretty much Naruto smiles and says, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. And you? Which this is where Gaara says his whole name. Which this is where Naruto says, so, I guess we meet later on then? Which Gaara says, I guess we do. This is where, of course, Sasuke will appear and pretty much asks what's going on, which Naruto says he would tell him later. And now we get to the Forest of Death arc. Now, this is where the Ridiculously the same will happen, but since Naruto knows pretty much how to knows every jutsu and stuff, and does create ability, he pretty much does the flying Roger Mark Seal to pretty much just make their job easier and pretty much head out the forest before then. And pretty much everything the same happened and they start going. Naruto pretty much already got the scrolls, and he pretty much tells the team to start heading. Now, as they start going, this is where Naruto says he has to go use the bathroom, which Sasuke says, alright, and Naruto heads to go to the bathroom. Of course, this is the original part, Naruto will get attacked by a snake, but instead of Naruto fearing it, this is where Naruto pretty much looks at the snake, and pretty much the snake instantly stops and be in fear. And pretty much stops and start, knowing its situation, knowing if it's attacked, it will wish it never was born or was created. This is where the snake, does a kneels his head down, and pretty much Naruto pretty much says, "Good snake, I think I might have you as my pet snake." And he pretty much hop on the snake and saying, "Now take me to your master. Take me to the person who told you to attack me." And the snake started heading, to the location where it was, summoned to attack him. This is where Sasuke sees Naruto, and of course Sasuke immediately knows that this is not Naruto, and he straight up shoots a fireball at Orochimaru. This is where Orochimaru gets out and pretty much says, "Huh, so you knew it wasn't me? You knew it wasn't Naruto? I'm very surprised." Which this is where Sasuke asks who the hell he is, which this is where he says his name. Well, pretty much he doesn't say his name, and pretty much starts attacking Sasuke. This is where Sasuke is getting attacked and stuff, and Sakura is pretty much helping in at the same time, pretty much throwing kunais and also trying to get in close range and trying to punch Orochimaru, but Orochimaru is dodging her attacks, but she pretty much gets a good clean hit in and sends him flying back, which Orochimaru says, "I'm quite impressed that you actually did a damage to me." Which Sasuke is pretty much saying, "Who the hell is he?" Which Orochimaru is not saying anything at that matter. Now this is where as Orochimaru is attacking, this is where pretty much Naruto comes in and kicks Orochimaru in the face and sends him flying to a tree, and pretty much breaks one of the trees, which he goes through the tree and hits another tree. This is where Naruto says, "Huh, so he's the one who sent the snake to me." Which this is where Sasuke looks and he sees a giant snake, which he says, "What the hell is that?" Which this is where Naruto smiles and says, that's my new pet snake. You like it?" Which pretty much Sasuke says, "Really?" Which Naruto smiles and starts laughing. This is where pretty much Sakura says it's not the time to laugh. Which this is where pretty much Orochimaru gets back up and starts charging with anger and pretty much trying to attack Naruto. This is where Naruto gets into an offensive position and stuff, and pretty much this is where, as he's about to attack, some figure comes with quick speed, slicing Orochimaru's body in half. Now, as the body gets sliced in half, this is where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura gets shocked and says, "What the hell was that?" This is where a girl with pretty much yellow hair has the little features of a fox, like fox features, kind of like Naruto's, and she pretty much has long hair, but she's also wearing like a lab, kind of like a lab apron kind of way, and she pretty much looks in, and she pretty much they pretty much sees her, and she pretty much looks at them, and this is where she immediately notices Naruto, and she says, "Brother," and she pretty much runs and pretty much hugs him, which pretty much this is where Naruto immediately know that this is the sister he created out of the labs, and and he says, "Sister," which this is where she says, "Yep." I'm so glad to see you, which pretty much this is where Naruto's trying to figure out how did she get out the lab facility and how did the creatures how did even the creatures like was not able to stop her. This is where pretty much Naruto's asking about has so many questions. This is where Orochimaru begins to try to go for the bite to bite Sasuke in the neck. But this is where Sakura comes in the way and gets bit in the neck, and she pretty much falls victim to the neck bite. Yes, this is absolutely different now. Crazy, right? You never thought Sakura would take a sacrifice and get bit in the neck. Huh. This is a spicy video, I think. But let's continue. This is where Sakura hits the ground from the curse mark, and Orochimaru says, "Tch," and trying to go for another bite. But this is where Naruto's sister pretty much grabs his head and pretty much slices it off. And pretty much this is where they think Orochimaru is dead, but this is where his head slither away, and pretty much they just grab Sakura and they start going with Naruto's sister. This is where as they're going, this is where Naruto is, asking the question of sister where was she? Which pretty much this is where Naruto doesn't say anything, but this is where Sasuke begins to ask Naruto the question like he didn't know he had a sister. He thought it was just only him. Like, what is going on? Which Naruto begins to say he would tell him later after this exam, which Sasuke is pretty much saying okay, he believes him, and they start going. This is where original canon, instead of Sasuke and Naruto being knocked out, it's more like Sakura's being knocked out, and pretty much yeah. This is where they start resting for a bit, and this is where Sasuke begins to ask Naruto the questions and asking him more like who is she, and pretty much this is where she explains her whole story, saying that um, she is the little sister of Naruto, and she was pretty much born on Pacific State, which pretty much Naruto had plenty of fake memories in her, and pretty much she's saying she's the daughter of Kushina, and she basically has a tail beast inside of her, and she is the 11 tail beast, which Naruto wanted to have a sister just like him, but had like a more powerful beast, 11 tail beast. Now I know what you're taking, 11 tail beast. What the hell is that thing? Is it powerful than 9 tails and 10 tails? Yes, it's more deadly. It's more. It's just more. It's just built different. It's more of a threat, more than say. But pretty much, this is where Naruto Sasuke is shocked. He didn't know. Um, he had a sister, and Sasuke asks him why he haven't told him this. Which this is where she explains, tells Sasuke that pretty much she was kept a secret from everybody because she was pretty much a daughter that was not meant to be talked about because she was more dangerous to be captured and other things like that. Which this is where Sasuke understands and takes that belief for now. This is where Naruto takes a solid belief because he will be hard to explain that pretty much she's just a clone, pretty much a new being that he created, and he will be hard to explain that she's basically just, a person he created. All sense. But this is where she pretty much starts to lay on Naruto's lap and pretty much says that she's very tired. Well, she's very sleepy, and she pretty much goes to sleep on Naruto's lap. This is where Naruto, again, pretty much says that he's going to take a rest too, and Naruto pretty much watch from the front rear. Which Naruto agrees at that too. Now, of course, this original canon, Orochimaru subjects, will go in and pretty much trying to get, Sasuke. But also, now Orochimaru kind of just wants to now try to get Sakura since he bit her. So if he gets Sakura, he can use Sakura as kind of like a baiting tool to have Sasuke to come with them. So they can have Sasuke be the one to take the crush mark and do the same thing as Original Canon. That's his goal now. So he tells his pretty much minions to his little spies to pretty much go and take Sakura and trying to at least escape with her and have her as a baiting school, baiting tool, you could say. Now, of course, this is where Sasuke is watch being lookout and stuff, and this is where pretty much uh they come as original canon. Now, this is where of course they start attacking as the same fight, but since Sasuke is different now, built different now. This is where Sasuke begins to activate his internal Mangekyou Sharingan, saying, "So who wished to fight me first?" Which this is where, of course, the first one charges at him and shoots like airwaves at him. Which this is where Sasuke dodges both of them, and this is where he pretty much says, "You know what? I'm tired of you. I'm tired of both of your arms." And he begins to set him on fire with the black, Aramasu, which he begins to try to put out the fire, and both of the rest is shocked that he got black frames on him and he can't put them out. This is where, of course, the other one's trying to, help out. This is where, of course, the girl's trying to help out while the other one's trying to, fight Sasuke. And this is where Sakura comes in and pretty much snaps the guy's neck, pretty much killing him in the process. This is where, of course, she pretty much saying, "Who's hurting my Sasuke?" And her curse mark is like, kind of like the original one, the counterpart in Sasuke, kind of like the same thing like Sasuke and Kanon. So this is where, of course, she pretty much goes to the girl and punches her in the face, pretty much breaking her nose and sending her flying to the tree. And this is where, of course, as the boy is burning, this is where Sasuke pretty much relinquished the fire, and he has a couple burn marks on him, but he's pretty much out. Not dead, but pretty much out. This is where Sakura is pretty much, looking, and Naruto pretty much wakes up and says, "Huh?" And Naruto's, you could say, sister wakes up too and saying what's happening, which Sakura is pretty much a little bit out, but she gets back her consciousness and saying what happened, which Naruto and Sasuke both noticed the curse mark on her neck and saying they don't know what the hell is that, but they're pretty much gonna try to help out. They're trying to see what the hell is it. This is where they start heading, and they make it pretty much as the same usual. I mean, a little bit more, yeah, same usual time as original canon, not late or anything. So, yeah, this is where pretty much we get to the part where Naruto and Sasuke pretty much talks to Kakashi, explains that Sakura has cursed mark, which this is where they at the part where they're in the final exams of fighting, which Kakashi's about to take Sakura out, which Sakura, of course, will be the same like Sasuke and say no, she can handle it, which Kakashi says okay, but if anything happens, he's taking her out, which she says okay. All the fights goes the same, but except for the boy, since he's already like since out of commission, so yeah, he's gonna be out. Sasuke, of course, will win his fight as original canon. Also, all the fights with the same. Oh, well, except for Sakura. Since Sakura has a curse mark, it'll be a little hard for her, but she takes out, with ease. The fight with Naruto and Kiba, Naruto just straight up punks the shit out of Kiba. There's no point of explaining it, but since I want to give you a funny content of community of a community joke, pretty much Kiba try to pretty much use the same techniques as original canon, but Naruto pretty much dodges their attacks and stuff, not even being phased about it. And he pretty much shows Kiba dog the true strength of fear by summoning a giant snake. Like not by summoning a snake, summoning a demon. Like a demon. Keep in mind, a demon. This is where he summons a demon with its flying wings and stuff. And the demon is pretty much, crosses his arm is flying. And this is where Kiba Dog is afraid, and also Kiba, and pretty much saying, "This is my pet demon. Say hi." Which the pet demon is just pretty much flying, and it begins to make a raw noise of rah, like pretty much like a raw noise of fear, which this is where everybody's afraid, and pretty much this is where the demon just sits down and he begins to shoot a fire, like about to shoot a big blast. It's a Naruto pretty much, hits it, like hits it in the head. Um, like pretty much, no, not hits in the head. Pretty much just like taps it and say, "Hey, we're not trying to destroy the whole place. We're just trying to put fear in them." Which pretty much the demon like, and looks down. Pretty much looks down in 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 sadness, which pretty much everybody noticed and saying, "Wait, he's upset that he couldn't destroy this place," which Naruto says, "Hey," which pretty much saying it's okay. I'll let you destroy something else when it comes to the time. Which the demon pretty much smiles in happiness and begins to like flapper his wings. This is where pretty much Kiba dog is too afraid to fight, and Kiba is like also afraid, and pretty much they call out, they pretty much like take the chakra pills to try to still fight. Until Naruto pretty much don't do anything, and the demon pretty much just hold both of their attacks and just slams into the ground and knocks them out. So yeah, that's a pretty funny fight. Um, all the fights regularly go the same. Especially with the Neji and Hinata fight, Naruto's get pissed off because he actually do have a liking to Hinata. So he actually does get pissed off about it, and before Neji can go for the flying blow, the finishing blow to kill Hinata, this is where pretty much Naruto comes in and blocks Neji attack and pretty much breaks Neji arm and kicks him. I mean, not kicks him, breaks his arm and pretty much slams him to the ground and saying, "What the hell do you think you're doing? Trying to kill my girl?" Which pretty much Hinata says, "Wait, what? Your girl?" Which she pretty much passes out at that point from exhausting, but also passes out from Naruto calling her his girl, basically. Which everybody else is shocked by that too. But this is where Naruto pretty much knocked out Neji, but he pretty much heals up Neji and saying that he has a much more worse to heal for him, so that's why he healed him. This is where he pretty much picks up Hinata and heals her, why he's holding her, and pretty much takes her up to the stand. This is where Hinata pretty much wakes back up, realizing that Naruto is holding her, well, pretty much holding her, which she realizes it, and she passes out again, which Naruto smiles and says it's okay. Like, which she passes out again, and pretty much Naruto's smiling about it. This is where pretty much after that everything else goes the same. Now this is where they have their 2 weeks of training, or 2 months if I'm correct. I think 2 months or 2 weeks. I can't really remember, but y'all can just tell me in the comments. But anyway, pretty much this is where they all start doing what they're doing. This is where soccer. This is where soccer will try to find a teacher to help her out, and this is where she would just stick with Kakashi and Sasuke, because I'm just gonna give her lightning and water chakra, actually earth and lightning, just to have it in the original canon. I mean, if I don't really know her things, but I'm just gonna give her earth and lightning, just for the thing. But pretty much, yeah, she's gonna also be with Kakashi because Kakashi knows how to handle the curse mark. So yeah, and Sasuke is gonna be with Kakashi too because A, Kakashi has a Sharingan, and B, since Naruto fixed Kakashi Sharingan, Sasuke will be learning more jutsus from him, and also will be learning how to use the Shidori. So yeah, Naruto will, of course, Minato will, Naruto will be with his sister for the most part, pretty much talking to her and pretty much asking her questions how she, got out of the lab and stuff, which pretty much she doesn't she says that she doesn't really remember it. All she knows that she, you know, was on the floor, she woke up, looked around, and and she just had to find him, which she didn't care what was in her way. And Oh, by the time I should probably tell you she has clothes now. But it's gonna be Naruto's tire outfit. So they're gonna have like matching outfits. So yeah, pretty much. But hers is gonna be a little bit different in a different attire. And the outfit you see right now, this is Naruto's outfit, you could say. But pretty much this is where she pretty much is, telling him that, which Naruto kind of want to go in her memories and see, but he trusts her enough to pretty much, believe what she's saying. This is where pretty much Minato will call him in the office to pretty much Naruto will go and Minato go to his father and pretty much talk to his father, saying that he's looking for a mentor to train. Which pretty much Minato will say that his godfather is here. One of the seven not one of the seven, one of the three legendary Sanis, Jirai Sensei, which pretty much Naruto is amazed and pretty much saying that he's here, which pretty much Minato says, yeah, he's here. He should be around here. Yeah, you should not miss him. He has white hair. And Naruto says, okay, which he pretty much goes. And Naruto's sister is in the doorway, not really like showing herself because Naruto don't want to show her to Minato yet. But pretty much this is where Naruto starts going, and Naruto takes his sister with her. And what's his sister name? It's up to y'all to decide in comments. I'm not gonna really name her right now. It's up to y'all choice. I want to give y'all the choice to do it. But pretty much this is where Naruto's sister is walking with Naruto, and pretty much Naruto sister is pretty much happy and saying that she can't wait to meet their godfather, which Naruto pretty much says, yeah, this should be, good for her to have her training and also see what she can do, which she pretty much smiles and says she can't wait to show her big brother what she can do, which Naruto smiles. This is where as they're going, this is where as they're going, this is where they see Jiraiya, and of course, Naruto immediately says, "Oh, so he's a pervert," which pretty much she looks and says, "A pervert? Is he?" Which Naruto says, yeah, but I'll tell you that later when the time is right." But she says, "Okay." This is where Naruto comes up to him and asks, "Are you Jiraiya Sensei?" Which pretty much Naruto asks, "Are you Jiraiya Sensei?" Which Jiraiya pretty much looks and sees that it's his grandson, which he says, so you must be Naruto, which pretty much this is where he looks beside him and also sees that's a little girl, which he pretty much says, "And who is this?" Which this is where she says her name and says that this is and this is where she pretty much says, "Big brother, why does he doesn't know me?" Which pretty much Jiraiya says, "Big brother, this is your sister? I haven't heard of her. This is your sister?" Which pretty much Naruto says, "I'll explain to you later, but can you, be my student? Can me and her be your student?" Which pretty much Jiraiya looks and says, "Okay, I'll make you my student if you can do this." And the same original happens canon, but Naruto regularly finds Jiraiya with quick ease, without any hesitation. And this is where Jiraiya takes Naruto in as a student. Now, this is we'll actually get off to a good start off point. This is where Jiraiya pretty much takes Naruto in, and they pretty much start heading out. This is where Naruto and Jiraiya pretty much head to the place, or the hotel place, you could say, or the area where Naruto learned how to do the Rasengan a little bit. This is where Jiraiya pretty much teaches Naruto how to do the Rasengan, pretty much saying that if he can bust the water balloon with his hand, then he can teach him the Rasengan. Which this is where Naruto and Naruto's sister does it with regularly ease without no hesitation, which Jiraiya is impressed and saying, okay. And this is where Jiraiya pretty much teaches Naruto how to do the Rasengan. And this is where he says, this is how you do Rasengan with one hand, but it should be hard for you, which this is where Naruto and Naruto's sister does the Rasengan with regularly ease without hesitation, which Jiraiya is just shocked and saying, y'all can do the Rasengan with one hand, which pretty much, this is where Naruto makes the Rasengan like more bigger and is adding more chakra to it and making it huger and huger. And this is where Naruto's sister does in it too, but she can only make it into a certain amount because of her body. But Naruto's still impressed, saying, "Good job, sister. You're trying your best to make it bigger." Which she says, "I wish I can do it like you, big brother." Which he pretty much smiles and says, "Oh, you will someday." Which she pretty much smiles in happiness from getting praise from her brother. But this is where pretty much Jiraiya is just shocked and amazed and saying, I might can teach him that, but I'll wait when the time comes. And Jiraiya pretty much says, okay. Now this is where Jiraiya will pretty much try to teach Naruto how to, work on his chakra still. Well, no, teach Naruto how to do the summoning jutsu, which this is where Naruto will use summoning jutsu, but this is where he pretty much will summon something much different. Well, no, this is where he will summon Gemabuta, which Gemabuta will look at Naruto and say, "Did you summon me?" Now this is part 2 of what if Naruto was the god of chaos or was chaos. If you like, already said let's get this up to 20 likes, but it would be cool. 30 likes, but if it's cool, can we get up to like 100? I'm Keyshawn Chia. Thanks for watching, and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.